So, today I will be painting something again that you can't see and telling you the hopefully short story of my first kiss, which is also the story of my first high school dance. So, um, I had finally worked up the courage to ask this guy to homecoming. Yeah. Um so I asked him maybe a week before homecoming, which I think is a good time. And he said sure. Now if you're if you know me IRL, you probably know exactly who I'm talking about because I will not shut up about the story and the fact that he said sure. Anyway, let's call him Dakota. Let's call him Dakota. And so Dakota was low-key helping me the whole time, trying to ask someone to homecoming. And I genuinely do not think he thought that I was gonna ask him. So I think he was rather shocked. But anyway, yeah, so it's like the night of homecoming, and he comes to my house, picks me up, takes pictures, yada yada. Oh, did I mention this was senior year? Yeah. My first and last homecoming. So we went for pho, I think. That's what it's called. And it was basically like a double date, I guess. I constantly say I've never been on a date, but I technically have been on a double date, which I didn't view as a date for months for some reason. Anyway, so then his brother's chill, but like the girl that his brother took was like super cool. I thought like we basically became friends that night. And then, well, his mom basically says, "Oh, well, there's like, it'll be a tight fit if we all go in the car. So, we can just get you an Uber." Mind you, this is my first time ever riding in an Uber. And so I was like, it's fine. But my it's fine was misinterpreted as let's get the Uber, so I was terrified. I'm pretty tall, by the way, and I was wearing heels. So, the car that pulls up to pick us up is a BMW. And if you know anything about, well, I think they're bigger now, but about the older BMWs, they're pretty, really, really pretty, super bougie, super small backseat. So, we were, I was, anyway, he's kind of like, well, he's tall now, but at the time he was like shorter than me, especially in heels. So we were just chilling in the backseat on the way to the dance, and he tells me that he's getting Snapchats, I think, from this random girl that he didn't know, and I was like, ooh, ask her who she is, like, find out who she is, and he was like, no. And I was like, why not? Okay, here's the thing. I don't know. I genuinely do not know why I wasn't treating this as like something romantic, like this whole thing at all. I was just like friends because we were friends. And that probably came off really strange. So, I wonder if he ever found who that was. He did because I later told him who it was after he showed me a video that she posted. But anyway, he was getting texts, Snapchats from this girl like all night. And that's a side stories. So it's really not that long of a story. Anyway, so actually what had happened was he showed me a snap that she sent him, and it's her being like all wild and stuff. It's like one of those weird videos. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, that's Janie." And I was like, "I know her." He's like, "How do you know her?" And I was like, she just post." He was like, "How do you know that's Jeannie?" And I was like, "Because she just posted that same thing on her Snapchat story, which I saw like earlier today." And so, also later on, at some point we were talking and standing, and he told me that she's sitting behind us, but I couldn't see her because she was like in a shadow, and it was a big old table of girls. But like whoever was texting him a ton was sitting behind us, because I was like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, "Because she just posted a picture of the scenery that we are looking at right now." I was like, "Oh." So then, yeah, we were like talking and standing, and I see a flash in the corner of my eye, and I'm like, "You're so stupid. Like, are you seriously trying to take a picture of us when you're?" I was more mad that they weren't doing it right. Like, they left their flash on. I was like, "You're so stupid. Like, if you're gonna take a picture of me, I know I'm gorgeous, but like, do it right." And I was like so angry, and I was like getting so angry that they had done it wrong. And he was like, "Calm down." I was like, "No, like step up to me." And I was like, yeah, I don't know why I was getting so upset, but yeah, that's basically the story on the Snapchat girl. So later on, poor Dakota, thinking about it now. We get to the dance, we get checked out, we go inside and everything. We get a table, and he doesn't know how to dance, which he told me beforehand, and I'm still kind of surprised that he even went to the dance with me at all. He doesn't even like dancing. I was surprised that he got on the dance floor with me. But okay, so I don't know if everybody knows this, but everybody in my general vicinity knows about this dance called the Macarena. So I was trying to teach him how to do the Macarena, and a friend of his that we ran into, I think it was actually Carly. She was trying to also teach him how to do the Macarena, and then her date was trying to teach him how to do the Macarena, and he was just not picking it up, which is kind of funny because like a literal like year later, he has to do the Macarena for a scene. Oh, he's also in theater, Dakota, and he can't do it, and I was just like, it reminded me of this day or night, and so then I was kind of like low key getting annoyed with his neglect of effort. It really seemed like he wasn't trying. It seemed like he didn't want to learn and he wasn't gonna try. So I was just like, okay, like let's stop dancing. And then we got off the dance floor, went to get drinks, and we ran into my friend. Let's call him Jackson. So we ran into Jackson, and we were talking about something, and he brought up his girlfriend. And I did not like his girlfriend. I was like, "I'm sorry, dude." Oh, that's such a bitch. Um, Actually, I remember now. He was talking to his girlfriend's friend, and she was saying something about how his girlfriend was upset or something, and I was like, "What's going on?" And he said like his girlfriend was upset over something dumb, or she was avoiding him all night, something like that. And I was like, "I'm sorry, dude, but your girlfriend sucks." And then I realized that her friend was there, and I was like, "I'm sorry, but your friend sucks." Ooh. Okay, a lot of the time I say things without thinking about them. So, I know that's me. I know. I probably shouldn't have said it, but yeah. And, and Dakota actually knew his girlfriend. So he was like, "Who's your girlfriend?" And so then, like, I was like, "What's his name?" Jackson tells Dakota who his girlfriend is. And he's like, "Oh, your girlfriend sucks." I was like, exactly. He could have just been agreeing with me because, like, I was his date or whatever. But, yeah. So then, eventually, we get back on the dance floor. And we slow danced. And I told him about, like my life or something related. I forgot what I told him. It was something. And it was kind of funny. I hate strapless dresses. Hate them. But I had this really cute dress I wanted to wear for the homecoming. So I wore it. But basically, the entire time, my hands were glued to my sides. I mean, my arms were glued to my sides because I was trying not to drop my dress. So, I could feel him trying to pull me closer. But one, I'm not that great a dancer. I need some distance so I don't step on you or trip over you. And, but I was like, no, because literally, like, he was just pushing up against my forearm, and I was like, absolutely not. If I move my arms any closer to you, my dress might drop. I didn't tell him that. So if you're watching this, Dakota, that is the reason why. And that was like the only dancing he could do, was kind of just swaying back and forth and moving in circles. But overall, it was a nice night. And then, we're just talking about like dumb stuff, and I bring up some tragic story. I'm using tragic for dramatic effect, and I start crying. And then he's like, "Oh, okay, are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "No, you're not okay." I was like, "Okay." And so then he takes my hand and he like takes me outside. So then we're like walking outside hand in hand. And oh, I missed a pretty interesting part of the story. But if I ever tell the story about Dakota, I'll include it then. And takes me outside, and so we're just kind of like sitting there in the nighttime, talking. And I forgot how we got to this point, but I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, and he like leans in, and I just like, okay, so this is him, right? He like leans in. My candle just went out. And I was just like, nope. It kind of sucks. That's a sucky time for the candle to go out. But yeah. And I just like, I totally curved his kiss. And he's like, I'm trying to kiss you. And I was like, I know. And I don't remember what happened. But then I just let him kiss me. And that was, oh, actually I remember. I was like too scared. And then I thought about it and I was like, well, it's not that big a deal. It's just your first kiss. It's like not that big a deal. At least you can just get it like over with, and it's with someone that you like kind of like. And so he kissed me. And I said something like, "You just kissed me." And he's like, "Do you want another?" And then he kissed me again. And I was just like, Is that what kissing's supposed to be like?" Because I didn't really feel anything, and I was just like so disappointed, I guess. Not really in him, but in my whole like, why do people talk about it, and like it's in all the romances and stuff, and I was like, what is this supposed to feel like? I don't understand. So then I think he tried to kiss me again, and instead I just hugged him. I was like, can I just hug you? Can we just hug? And so then I was just hugging him, and oh no, something had happened. I don't remember where it happened. It happened either before the kiss or after, where he picked me up and put me in his lap. So I was like sitting sideways on him. Like this is him, his legs, and these are my legs, you know? Anyway. I keep remembering parts of this story in editing, but we also took a picture that night because I was telling him something about how it seemed like a dream and how it didn't seem real. So then he like took a picture of us, and it's a pretty bad picture. But yeah. So I guess I don't really know because my thoughts didn't really line up with what I was saying. Because my thoughts were like, is this what it's supposed to be like? And outside I was saying like, oh, it's like some fantasy. So Dakota, if you're watching this, I'm truly sorry for being so confusing. And then he talked about something and he's like, I want to be exclusive because for me, if we're not exclusive, we're not boyfriend and girlfriend. If you don't ask me or I don't ask you and to be boyfriend or girlfriend and neither accepts or something, you know, like we're not together. We are not exclusive. I could go on a date with somebody else, you know, or you could go on a date with somebody else. And I was like, I was like, dude, you gotta pump those brakes. Your train is about to run right off the track. I was like, I was gonna say no, and I think he knew I was gonna say no. So he was like, I won't ask you now. I'll ask you at the end of the month. And then we got picked up. I got dropped off. My mom came out. She went to go talk to his uncle who picked us up and dropped us off. And then he stepped forward in front of my door and I gave him another kiss. But I gave him that kiss because I felt like he really wanted it. And I just didn't care. So it was just another, like, peck on the lips or something. And then left. I went home. I walked into my house. Told my mom a shorter version of what I just told you. And that's the story of my first kiss / first and last homecoming. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. This is significantly shorter than my last video, but bye.